welcome to another edition of Unpopular Review Entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be reviewing another movie about strong black fathers. And in my opinion, I don't think that anybody can contest with this, honestly, because I love this movie. However, I kind of hate it because it had me crying like a bitch. But anyway, let's get into it. Joining me this evening is none other than the tribal chief of staff, Mr. Mike Knox. How you doing?
Hello.
And also none other than C the Superior, joining us for John Q, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all doing this evening?
Oh, I'm here.
Well, I'm doing great. You know, it's a lovely weekend. We're pre-recording this,
Yes.
so it's the weekend for us. And I'm happy to be here with you guys and to talk about this great Denzel Washington movie.
You talking about John Q?
Mike's heart is useless. He's going to need a transplant or he's going to die.
What made Mike so sick?
The hospital's under new management now. Everybody does exactly what I say, nobody will get hurt.
Or hurt.
I want my kid's name on the donors list.
This is going to end up bad for you, John.
Police will do whatever is necessary to preserve the lives of these hostages.
I am not going to bury my son.
Woo! All right. Well, I mean, you know, I'll just start it off because, like, you know, with this in the beginning of this movie, you fall in love with the kid. You fall in love with this kid. Like, man, it's just amazing. They have this beautiful life, you know, this like middle class life, and they're a part of a community. Everything is nice. Everything, you know, they don't have a lot of money, but they're happy. And then the kid's playing baseball suddenly has a heart attack. You know what I mean? And you know, for something that's just so sudden and something that you would never see coming, and it was just incredible. Just that part of it alone just had me stuck glued to my phone because I'm just saying, mind you, I already saw this movie, but still, again, had me glued to my phone. And I'm not gonna lie, this shit had me tearing a little bit. And it did.
Every time you say glued to my phone, I always gotta forget that's how you watch it. That's how you take in your information, your entertainment.
Oh, I'm not. I don't my TV.
Well, it was the same for me, honestly. I've seen this movie before, and I remember seeing this movie like when you're like sick from school and you like stay home, you're eating crackers and eating soup, and you're like, all right, let's just put this on. Because I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house when I was younger, and she had HBO. Like back in the day, HBO was like, you know,
HBO.
Wow. Yes.
Do you have HBO?
Right.
No.
So
No, I mean, like if you had
all the
HBO,
movies.
you paid extra.
You paid
Yeah,
extra,
uh-huh.
right?
Mhm.
You was living the life. You had HBO.
That's
Oh, you know
right.
what?
Yes,
You ain't got The Sopranos.
Yeah,
For real.
this is the bougie grandma. That's on my bougie side. She had HBO. And this is probably one of the first Denzel Washington movies I remember seeing. And I remember crying watching it when I was younger, and I cried again watching it as if I've never seen it. Like it's crazy how it can like just bring these emotions to the forefront because it's saddening, it's relatable, and it's still so relevant today. And that's the really disappointing thing. But yeah, Denzel Washington hit it out of the park. I believed him as a father, desperate to save his son and his family, and just everything he had to do, he did it for the love of his son and the love of his family. He isn't a violent man. He isn't, you know, a bad guy. He's a desperate man. And it's just a really emotional film.
You can hear that even you trying to find the right words in there to say. And if you haven't seen John Q, you should see John Q. If you haven't seen John Q by now, we're talking about John Q, then shame on you because John Q is one of the best Denzel Washington films of all time. Not just Denzel films, just films in general about a kid who just is like Vic was saying, perfectly healthy. Out of nowhere, he gets a Grey's Anatomy kind of disease. if you watch Grey's Anatomy, I mean, I almost saw somebody die from hiccups on there, right? Don't take nothing. Like, it's like, okay, you can die from hiccups according to Grey's Anatomy. So all of a sudden, this kid has a bad heart. He needs a heart transplant. And this family has no money. And this is what got me, guys. You're looking at the part when they realize that the boy needs help, and the hospital says we're going to do with so much because it's going to be expensive. How did they get their records? You only make this. She's only working this at the like they went all in on her job, working at the supermarket, not having enough money. You knew early on, and I know we all watch films here, the notice of how he was nervous about giving his insurance card because he kind of knew that some changes had happened there. And Vic, you had last month was the political satire month, and I couldn't help but feel the politics in this. And this is where you were educating me and how there's different levels of politics. I blindly saw politics as just offices and voting, but it's so much more than that. And this movie depicted that so well, and they're not going to help this kid because they can't afford it. Exactly. You know what I mean? And it just the sadness in that, and like he said, not an evil guy, not an angry guy, not a bad guy, just a desperate guy. And I'll tell you what makes people desperate. When you have a strong black woman that tells you stuff like this.
Now you need to do something. Do you hear me? Do something.
What was he supposed to do at that point? He went crazy, Vic.
Of course. I mean, but think about it. Okay. Oh, look. You created this child with this woman. You going through this tough time. And mind you, what else could he have done? How many different insurance companies did they go to? How many loopholes? How many things? How many times did the blonde lady say, oh, we've been very generous and blah, 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 and this and that? And how many times did they keep pointing to the fact that what matters here is that you have enough money to pay for this, right? So, you know, what pisses me off about that is that why do we have so many McDonald's down every single road in this country?
Oh,
you know why do we have Chick-fil-A? Why do we have this and this and that? And then all of a sudden, because the truth be told, that it's really more than anything. Nobody's bougie enough to go eat at Cipriani every day. You know what I'm saying? So
I could afford it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So the reality of the situation it turns into a situation like this where all of a sudden you have insurance. You feel like you're protected because you have insurance. And you have backup insurance, and you're waiting on more insurance. But then if that policy gets changed under you without you even knowing anything, come on, you know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the part he did know, but that's us, especially Americans, not educating ourselves in what they changed, not reading it, not changing. This is why if you go deeper into things, having unions versus not having unions, but depending on what side you sleep on that side of the ledger, to educate you on when that PPO changes, that HMO changes, the changes that happen. And again, when you don't know these things, you're already mad they're taking all this money out of your check in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like the government doesn't give you money based off what you bring home. They bring it to you off of your gross, not your net. They don't care you paid insurance. They don't care you paying taxes. You don't get no money. You don't get no money. And this family couldn't afford nothing. See? Like,
and they were cutting back his hours at the job, and they forced him into a situation that was less beneficial for him and his family. It's disgusting, honestly. It honestly pissed me off watching the movie. It was sad, and it just makes you angry how people are treated because of lack of money, or the money that they do have, how they're treated better. It's just really disgusting. And but when he did get taken to the point after, his community really did come behind him. Like his church was giving him money, his friends, his neighbors, they were all trying to help out because they, this is a good family.
Can I just say something about the church part, because I've watched this movie plenty of times. We're getting ready to do a show. I like to watch it fresh, watch different eyes. Man, that was a thin ass envelope, church. He said every day before he went coastal, he said, "I give you $22,000." Man, church, like what kind of community all you can come up with is a $22,000? And I thought to myself, as a Chicagoan, that's because he lived on the north side. Y'all saw how fast when Nate got sick, they went from the ballpark to the hospital. right? And you saw where the area was. This is me, Vic, being you, the New York's movies, right?
Mm.
That's North Side. So
Yeah,
that's
okay.
probably not belonging to a South Side church that have raised him more than $22,000.
See,
I had to point
but
that
yeah,
out
they're
there.
in a poor neighborhood. Like, you know, they're not in, you know, the
No, they're
Ritz.
not in the poor neighborhood. They're in the middle class
They're
neighborhood.
Well, was it middle class?
It was
Because
middle class.
Yeah, it was middle
he was
It's
working
middle
20
class.
hours a week. She was
I
a
get
waitress.
that part. Yeah, that part is the money they're making doesn't make any sense. But where they were living at was not in the hood. It was middle class area for
Yeah,
sure.
I
The
would say, like,
house.
okay, well, for me,
Yeah.
I don't know if just because it's something's not middle class, I don't think it's necessarily the hood.
Mhm.
But I would say that they were low, if anything,
Lower
middle
class. Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's a class no one even wants to mention, right?
Yeah,
There's a sub tier.
The lower class.
you know what? Like, it kind of like Roseanne. Type.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Like that.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
that.
I missed that show. Sorry.
Or-
Shut
or-
my
or
check.
like-
Stuff
like-
I did.
Type of situation.
Yeah, like Al Bundy. You know?
No, Bunny, listen, let's leave. Al came up as Mr. Pritchard in Closets.
Right, the facts.
Okay, so
You
we're gonna
sure
leave
did.
Al Bundy alone because he
sure
went
did.
from Peg to Sofia Vergara. Okay, but in
Word
this
up.
Oh
movie,
yeah, now he's
John-
rich.
I mean, you know
John
what,
was
though?
backed into a
Like,
corner.
Peg coulda
I
got
mean,
it.
and talk about he takes these people hostage. See, you were talking about it. As he takes these people hostage, he doesn't know what to do. He's at his wits end. The different types of people that were in there, right?
Mhm.
Of course, the police gets involved, and I mean, what a cast in this movie, right? I mean, you got what's my man from Ray Liotta is in this movie.
Word up.
James Woods, and I think we talked about James Woods
Yeah.
weeks ago. Everything James Wood plays, James Woods is James Woods,
Mhm.
right? We got Kimberly in this movie, Denise, the wife from Set It Off at this point, right? And Anne Heck,
What's his
who's
name,
the
Eddie
blonde.
Griffin?
Eddie Griffin's in this movie too. All
Yeah.
right. So you got my man from the Cosby Show, whose wife also said to him in the middle of John Q shows up with a gun, and his wife, while she's pregnant, still tells this other black
Now
man.
you need to do something.
care.
Do you hear me?
She told him right now, dude, you didn't. He's like, babe, he got a gun, right? So you got the racist guy from Alpha Dogs in here beating the chick up. All right.
Word up.
He, you know, that this is the whole scene, letting the Spanish lady go, letting the pregnant lady them go, where
Mhm.
even them talking to the cops, he's not a bad guy.
Mhm.
But no, looking lo and behold, Dan Scott with his stupid haircut, Mr. I wrote it down. Luke Lampley. What a stupid name. Luke Lampley. Okay, from 90210 fame, 101 Tree Hill. Yes, Captain Shakespeare. Dan's in this movie with the same stupid haircut. Okay, as in this movie, like just no one wants to help this man. But everybody can see this guy is not a bad guy. They get him on TV to try to kill him. Right? They because this guy Luke Lampley gets it on TV. The SWAT team's coming in. They try to kill him, and I would say arguably one of the most famous lines in all of movie history. In my
I will
opinion.
not bury my son. That one.
I am not gonna bury my son. My son is gonna bury me.
It don't get no better. And I feel that, and Vic, you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna go see Passion of the Christ with about 5 of my homies and my wife.
Yeah.
My
Wow.
wife said, I've never seen a group of black men cry like y'all cried doing Passion of the Christ. So it's okay to cry doing John Q.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Especially when that gun goes to his head and it don't click. Oh, I got to see it.
Smash. That was crazy. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was like, is it? Are they going to be too late? And even
Mhm.
the scene that really had me bawling was when he was talking to his wife, and on the red phone that they were trying to set him up on, and you know she was just saying that he's not doing good, and you know it was being broadcasted on the news and everything, crying. And when the little boy got on the phone, tears.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, one thing that I took from that when he was talking to his father was when Denzel said to him, you make as much money as possible. Don't be stupid like your father. You make as much money as possible. And I feel like that was a public service announcement.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
I
Because
say-
it's like, it doesn't matter what happens. You got to have the money to cover yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have the money. I tell my kids all the time, you know, you want to spend money. We talking about this. I had a chance to choose the category for this month, and coming in up on Father's Day, I said, you know, and this, by the way, this Father's Day would be Black Father's Day, by the way, because it falls on Juneteenth. By the way.
Word. That's crazy. That's no shit. That's
So
wild.
Black Father's
gonna
Day
be
all
awesome.
around the
That's-
world got to celebrate this.
Fact.
I chose this because, as you just said, it's about building things in our children that we were not taught. I tell my kids all the time, they want something. You got $100? Something costs $1. Something costs $10. You need to have $1 for every one of those 10. You need $100 to spend 10, and you can't have it.
I see.
I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to live from check to check. I don't want you to have to pick up the phone and say, "Oh man, yo, can you cash at me something, dog?" I get you back on payday. We should be financially independent, and this movie shows us why we should be at least educating ourselves in that, so this doesn't happen. When it came to the insurance stuff and everything else like that. See, I want to hear from you about that, about the scene, like some of maybe your best parts with all the people being around, the dynamic. Eddie Griffin, man, my hands cut off the race. My man Tuna, the big fat guy.
Tuna,
yes.
Remember the Titans?
He was in Blow. He was
definitely in Blow. Yeah.
Wait, the big guy wasn't he in Boy Meets World?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
He was the bully.
Okay.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
that's we got generations here between the three of us here, so I like that. But listen, hold that thought. See, we're gonna be right back after this message.
Daddy, don't wait up for me.
I never do.
What's wrong with Daddy?
You want to bring down the syndicate? It's impossible.
They're coming after us with everything they've got.
You ready?
Are back. Mission Impossible 5 coming up this weekend, y'all. I am the tribal chief of staff. I'm joined by Vic, the doctor. That boy, look, he got a clean background. He must have had a date last night with the fiance going on. Can't wait for that life to start for him. You know me, I'm 18 years ago. We got Cedar Superior here. Listen, y'all, if y'all ain't following her on YouTube, then you just stupid. Just don't say it like that. I said it. She did. That's I called you stupid. All right. So John Kudo, Strong Black Fathers Month is here. Vic, damn man, you always picking these good movies, man. I gotta set my picks up next time because you picked the good political one. You picked this one. Saw this movie 100 times. I'm still crying. See the scene in the hospital with all this stuff going down. Talk on it.
So I did like the dynamics and with all the different characters in the emergency room. Specifically, my favorite scene was when the battered woman finally stood up for herself because she had the power in that instant to pick up the gun and, get rid of John. Had she picked up the gun and chose to shot him, that would have been it. Shot a good guy. But what she did, which was the correct thing, she's maced the boyfriend because he had the whole time been, being abusive towards her. And, you could tell throughout from the beginning, as soon as they were introduced, there was something kind of off.
He tried to run out when John first came to leave her. I noticed that this time around when John first busts in, everybody's running out of the hospital. He leaves her, and then when John locks the door, he goes and tries to comfort her because he's just out of. I knew you wasn't blonde, all that ass and blonde hair. I knew it. That's what Eddie Griffin told her.
That's crazy.
He said it though. She had a chance to actually change the whole movie, and she can see in that dynamic. And I think that's what made you ultimately root for him in this movie, where he's doing something that's not right. Yeah, he's the one pointing the gun. Shout out to my man, E from Entourage. Okay, every role he plays, he's just a good guy. He was a good guy in The Notebook. Okay, only Kevin Conley. Only thing Kevin Conley wasn't good in as a good guy was in Rocky 5. Right, when he was the bully to Rocky's son. Other than that, Kevin Conley's always played a great role, and he's talking about how that's exactly what you do. You go up there, they pay you not to say what's on your insurance. And he heard the doctor say, James Woods said, I can't deny or confirm that, which means sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, and that just shows you. But this whole parallel, like I said, even Tuna, we don't have guns, and the whole thing, her turning on her boyfriend essentially and not John Q shows that the world and that movie audience at that point, he's really a good guy trying to do something for his son, and we're all feeling for him in this moment. See, you got your final thoughts for you? Go ahead.
My final thoughts are John is clearly the hero of this movie. It's all about his relationship with his son. But there is an unspoken hero in this movie, and it may not be who you think it is.
Hold on.
The reporter.
Luke Lampley?
Yes, the reporter. Listen, because before everything went down, John and his boy, they went to the station and was like, look, could you cover this, outreach? You see, they're doing us wrong here. And he listened to them, being a news anchor. He didn't have to hear their story. He listened to them and said, okay, I have to bring it past my producers, which most likely was the case. And when he was covering the story live, he could have changed the narrative and left out the whole thing about him being a dad. It could have just been this crazed man, who came in, took people hostage in the ER. Okay. And not only that, the footage is what saved John's life.
That is true. But I would say that I would counter that. I don't think you're wrong, right? Because everything's a perspective and how, what they say, 6 degrees of separation, not that one. What they say, a vantage point, whatever the hell, you know what I'm talking about, right? From where I'm looking at it, he's a slimy guy. So to me, he dissed John and them. And then like a storm chaser, this news broke, it got big. He had the inside knowledge already because they went to him and he used that to his advantage. His footage did ultimately save John, which gave us the great scene on television that gave that. But every reporter out there, more than likely, I have to say, just watch. We're giving that, but he was a reporter they gave us to see. And I think they gave us him in a slimy way, but it did pan out. Yeah, Vic?
I like the fact that the kid hacked into the feed.
Yeah, there you go. I was waiting for that.
I thought that was awesome. I like the fact that he hacked into that shit and got it, and he was all hyped because you know what? Listen, man, when you accomplish a computer thing that you've never accomplished before, you understand how good it feels. No. You can tell that he hacked into the police thing and got this whole thing, and he was feeling like the man. You know what I'm saying? I get that, and I love that. I thought that was great, and I agree with you. He is an unsung hero. Let me show you.
But overall, great movie. I don't know if we're doing thumbs up or.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was my wife calling me. Y'all saw my mouth moving, but it was like it's like an old Chinese connection movie. I was like, "Hey, baby, call you back." So it's cool. Nice. But we're here. So let's just say this: is there any thumbs down? Let's be real. Chris isn't here, so I don't see no wet blankets, no haters. Is there any thumbs down? No. So we all get it collectively thumbs up, universal thumbs up on this movie. Nothing to hate about it. Is it better than the Batman? In a different way. Is it better than any movie on Netflix? Absolutely. Is it better than the next technology that's in the technology? It doesn't need to be because that kid said, and I quote, yeah, if they got it, I can get it. And that was
exactly. Exactly. Come on now. What? I loved it. That was just fantastic. You know what I mean? But more than anything, this movie ages well, especially now, because it just really makes you realize that, if you have a problem, a real problem, a lot of times you're on your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I figured that out firsthand when Hurricane Sandy happened here. But, this kind of thing, if you don't have the money, you're shit out of luck sometimes. You know what I mean? There's a ton of legislation. There's money that's put in. Thank God that stuff is there for basic things. But the reality of the situation is just that, I feel like this is a good announcement just to have everybody be like, listen, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Because
you got to be, I think also from this, a lesson that's, taught after the fact, of course, because no one knows. It's like he wasn't taught to teach yourself. To educate yourself. I was blessed when my children were born, micro preemies, to have March of Dimes right there. You know what I mean? And my wife had one micro preemie child at 1.7 pounds to my next one 11 months later. And they all spent, I got spent literally 3 years in the hospital. And with the thanks of March of Dimes, we get to be, testimonies for other families and things like that and know how to actually get funding, like hearing people not be able to get funding, but knowing how to get funding. Like I'm here now in Florida and I met a young lady at work who was having a child who knew nothing about how to receive food stamps and things along those lines, and just simple things that people think that, what's that TLC? I'm not too proud to beg. I'm sorry. This is, it used to be God Bless America. But as my president, because my president was black, President Barack Obama's pastor said, God damn America. So with that being said, guys, this has been John Q. Black Fathers Month. Wow, see the Superior. Make sure you go follow her wherever she's at, because damn it, she's like that. And Unpopular View Entertainment, we got everything coming your way. Family Feud, more. What's the next battle? See, as a matter
next
of fact,
battle is undecided, but it will be happening next week. And if you follow us on Instagram, you should see all the information. Vote on our polls and let us know who you would like us to battle.
Did you request?
Yeah,
All right, I need Storm Shadow versus Snake Eyes. I'm calling it right now. It's
Storm
a tie.
Shadow versus Snake. All right. I'll run a pass. See what we can do.
All right, y'all. We are out of here, y'all. Peace.
Take care, yeah.
Mike's heart is useless. He's going to need a transplant or he's going to die.
What made Mike so sick? The hospital's under new management now. Everybody does exactly what I say. Nobody will get hurt. Or hurt. I want my kid's name on the donors list.
This is gonna end up bad for you, John.
Police will do whatever is necessary to preserve the lives of these hostages.
I am not gonna bury my son.